Betty Banjack, and look who's cooking. Before we go on and I introduce my very special guest, Dan Blaschak, I went to, what was that? Oh, Blaschak. I always do that. I get things, I know. You see, my name is Banjack, and this is
Blaschak.
We can make a whole vaudeville number out of this.
Yes, we could. It's perfect.
It's perfect. You can get up on this thing and dance. And
I am.
before
Hopefully
we get
not.
into cooking,
Okay.
which you're the expert.
At least today.
At least today, the expert of the day. I want to mention a few things about the school here. We're now working out of a new studio with a lot more equipment, a lot better equipment, a little confusing maybe for everyone the first time around. But it is really good, and the ladies and gentlemen working on the crew do a wonderful job, and I'm sure this is all new to them. And John Doyle, who is the director of communications, I believe that is correct, and also he teaches English. He oversees all of this, and he has a big job, and everyone seems to come through. This is the first tape of this season, 2005, the autumn part of that year. We always go the school year. So we're finished with all that, and I just wanted to tell you, oh, the biggie. Well, how could I'm looking out, and the biggest thing I have, this is the first time we've had an audience. And there's students of yours.
Yes.
Third
Can I
period,
introduce them? Well,
everyone, one by one.
The camera's not going to go on to the audience, but in front of us right now is my third period investigative cultures class. And they are 10th graders here at Norristown High School, and they are outstanding individuals, and they were excited to be part of our audience today. So we're very happy.
Were they really excited? Did you make
Well, no. When I went down to their science lab and asked them if they wanted to come see the show today, they jumped on the opportunity, Betty.
I thought it was show up or I'll flunk you.
No. Wouldn't you rather be doing this than being in the library? Doing your lab, your history lab?
Actually, most are going. You would. Yeah. So it's almost like we're a big-time television show today. I mean, we are a big-time television show in the area, but this is now Emerald and all that stuff with an audience. Maybe this is the start of something.
Well, you know, how will the audience see us on TV later? I mean, what channel do they have to?
Well, the Channel 3, the Norristown Access School Channel.
Ah, okay.
But I have to let you know at a later date exactly when our schedule is, because it changed with the new equipment and the new everything.
Okay.
And I learned earlier it isn't what it was the last 4 years that we've done that. But I'll let everybody know as soon as I can. Hopefully enough of us will see this hit and miss or see in reruns. We do a lot of reruns.
Why did you ask me to be on the first show?
Well, because I like you? No, I don't even really like him. No. I asked him to be here because you were here before.
That's right.
And he was such a hit. His family thought the video of he and I cooking together were hilarious.
I cannot show the video of that to my family without the people, the family members being on the floor laughing.
They laugh a lot.
They were hysterical. They thought it was funny. And I was making ranch beans, my famous ranch beans. And it was pretty much of a hit, I would say.
And the other thing this year, we're going to have a lot of repeat people, not repeat recipes, but repeat guests. And a lot of people that, like to cook and express the desire to cook and weren't so nervous about being on the show. Too many people were very nervous about being on the show.
Have you ever had students from Norristown?
Yes, I had one from
Okay, so
Bette.
anyone in the audience who's interested in being on the show, volunteer, and Ms. Banjack will take care of you.
And or anyone else in the audience that would like to be on the show, just contact me. My phone number, and there's graphics with the address on at the end of the show. So you can just, contact us, and we'll talk a little while, and the next thing you know, you'll be standing right here. What are we doing today?
We are doing Aunt Karen's special spare ribs.
Aunt Karen?
Now, Aunt Karen is a family, she's my sister-in-law, and she's from Louisiana. She is from Bayou Country. She is deep in Bayou Country, and she's a nurse down there. And I tell you, she has the best rib recipe I have ever had in my life. Betty, it's very. Can you already smell the ribs in the audience?
Here?
I'm smelling it.
Yeah. I can smell them. I don't know who else can.
So anyhow, this recipe is from my famous Aunt Karen from deep and down by Lake Pontchartrain in Louisiana. And when do you want to start?
I want a question first.
Oh, yes.
I have to ask this. I know, since we don't know Aunt Karen, it won't be tragic. How old is Aunt Karen?
Aunt Karen, she's in her 50s. She's
I
like
imagine
me.
everyone from the bayous being in their 70s and 80s.
Nah,
I don't know why,
she's pretty
you know.
hip girl from
Is
the
she
from the
hip?
bayou.
Well,
yeah.
she's a nurse too. That's-
She is a nurse, yes.
So
Deep
when
in the bayou country, and she takes care of people and then bakes these spare ribs that are just, well, they're succulent.
So she saves them, then she kills them.
Yes,
Over,
apparently.
you know,
Apparently.
Too
Okay.
much to eat.
All right, you
What
want to
are you
start?
gonna do? You're going to start. It's your recipe.
Okay.
I have it
Now,
in front of me too here.
these are country ribs. What's the difference between country ribs and baby backs, for example?
It's the cut.
The cut,
Yeah, the country ribs have a lot of meat. You can see that.
there's lots of meat in there, kids.
When you get the
lots
when
of
you
meat.
get the ribs, the barbecue spare ribs, the baby back ribs, it has to be people that like to chew on bones because there's not much meat. On these, as you can wep on, they're really they're very meaty.
And they weren't cheap either.
Nothing's ever cheap
No,
anymore.
they weren't really cheap. Okay, here's the recipe.
But
Are you
let
ready?
me say one thing before you start that. They were cheap at one time. Spare ribs were really cheap. And that's why people ate them, because they got meat and they taste good and they were cheap. But they're not cheap anymore.
No, well, it's like everything else. All right, are you ready? All right, first thing you have to do, you got to salt and pepper these babies. So I got pepper. I like the old kind that I crunch up.
I love that kind of pepper.
I mean, this is the only pepper, really, folks. You can't do this stuff. That's not good. And then you got to flip over, get the pepper on the other side.
Why don't you salt it?
That salt's coming. What goes first?
Neither. Well, you
No, I'm putting salt and pepper on this. I'm putting a special kind of salt, too.
Oh, you're not putting that one.
I'm putting kosher salt on here.
Oh, my.
You know the advantage of kosher salt? Now, I don't even know if it's legal to put kosher salt on spare ribs, is it? I'm not even sure about that.
That's not illegal.
I don't know. But this kosher salt, my wife contends, and Aunt Karen from Louisiana, she contends that this really locks in the flavor. So, kind of not too much of it, but this kosher salt,
It takes longer to melt.
it's a good investment. It really is a good
You shouldn't
investment.
get a big box like this.
Yeah,
for
it does come in a huge
$3.
box, but yeah, I just brought a little bit in today.
They use that in canning a lot. Because
So-
it takes a while to disintegrate.
Yeah,
Here.
okay. So, once you get the salt and pepper on, searing. We're talking searing here. Now, I'm not much of a cook. I'm not even sure what the purpose of searing is, Betty.
It's to keep
Could
the
you share it
juices
with
in.
us?
Yeah, it's to keep the juices in. When you sear the meat, the meat you see it's red, and if it's raw or something, and if you sear it quickly on each side, it forms a crust and keeps the juices in while it's cooking the rest
Now,
of
how
the
long do
time.
we have to sear this for?
I don't know, look at it.
It just says sear. Sear, I don't know what that means.
I don't know where the word
All
comes
right.
from. Wait till
Ooh.
it's hot, really
Ooh.
hot. Okay.
Do you hear that? That's searing. We're talking searing here. And it should be seared for about 30 seconds on each side, I suppose.
A little longer maybe.
You think
These
so?
are pretty fat.
All right. So we're going through the
Doesn't tell you
stage
on the
of
recipe?
locking the flavor in. Because if you don't lock the flavor of food in, it's not going to taste good. You want to excite your taste buds, and got to do certain things the right way. Like I would know what the right way is.
But I get to understand it here. I have a thing. I like to wear clothes to my food.
Now, Miss Banjack said that we have had a lot of changes here at Norristown High School, and one of the big changes, you didn't know this, did you?
What?
We have a Norristown Area High School barbecue pit,
Ah,
and it's out in the fields there, and Mr. Jack Casey, in about 2 seconds, is going to come up here, and he's going to be our resident barbecue guy today. So he's going to run out, grill these things, because the essence of deep bayou country barbecue is to you got to put them on a grill. So this searing isn't enough. So I think that's seared. Yeah, I think we're okay. So if I could have Mr. Jack Casey, who is one of our students here in the gifted classes at NAHS. Now, you know where the pit is, right?
Yes.
Okay. Don't let this slip off the plate. Brown it on both sides. All right,
For
and
how
just,
long?
you know, well, he'll see. He'll be able to tell.
He'll know, is
Yeah.
he the,
He's the resident.
Expert?
Yes, he's certified, so he should be able to do this.
okay. What's he certified
To be a barbecue pit
for?
runner.
Person?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
seared it on both sides to lock in the flavor. And now we're grilling it.
Jack is grilling outside on both sides. He's browning it on both sides. Now, I think Miss Cobb, Sarah Cobb, is going to come on up here.
Is she another student?
She is another student. She's in our gifted classes. Say hello to Norristown.
Wanna
Now,
come around or just stay there?
come on over here.
Get it?
Oh,
Get
don't
a good
trip over
shot.
them.
If you want to say anything, I'll give you my mic.
Okay, now, see this thing right here? You got to combine 2 cups of brown sugar. So, get that brown sugar there. Has to be brown sugar. This was very expensive.
I know. Any
You know,
cooking
I should get reimbursed for this.
after I do.
Okay. All right. So just fill it all the way to the top. This is our old. This is ancient. So it's an heirloom. So
And when you're
2 the
making
whole way to the
cookies,
top.
And you're using brown sugar, the darker the sugar you make, the moister the cookies. I just found that out. Light brown sugar doesn't do the same thing. You want a spoon?
Sure.
Right.
Kind of mash it up. You're going to get your hands dirty here.
It's okay.
This
You know,
is.
I'm sorry, it's a new season, a lot of new things. We still don't have a refrigerator. We still don't have water. We still don't have a lot of
Okay,
things. But we're going to get them
throw it in
eventually. Maybe the next 100
All right, now
years or so.
we add the brown sugar to our little mixing unit here.
Oh,
Now
okay.
you got to get dirty here. Now you know what paprika is?
Red pepper.
Now,
hot red pepper.
We need 1 teaspoonful.
Mhm.
Now we don't have. I didn't bring the measuring cups today, so well,
That's a teaspoon.
see-
Just not put some in, I'll tell you.
world class cooks, they don't need they
Okay.
just know.
Pour some in,
That's a teaspoon.
a little more. Okay.
All right. What do you like? Emerald or something? He always adds too much. But anyhow,
That's not
now you
too
got
much.
to get your hands
If you would
messy.
scrape that off that sugar, you'd have a teaspoon.
But is it a teaspoon?
It's a teaspoon,
All right.
trust me.
All right. Now what Miss Cobb is doing is making sure the paprika and the brown sugar is all mushy and it's getting ready to accept this piece of meat that Jack is outside grilling right now. Okay. Think it's sufficiently mixed in there? All right. Very good. Say hello to your mom and dad.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Okay. Okay, now, all right, Aunt Karen's, it looks good up here. Do you smell that? That's what you're going to eat in a couple of minutes. It's
Oh,
starting
yeah, we
to,
have samples.
it's starting to percolate throughout the studio here at NAHS. Okay, now, oh, you know what? Golly Moses, we need Jack back here. Where the heck is Jack? Ah! Whoa.
Wow.
All right. Jack, any problems with the barbecue pit? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So do the viewers. Now, this is where it really gets gross. Are you with us?
I'm ready.
All right. You got to slather that in there.
You know what? You must have spent a fortune on ribs.
Well, I did.
But it's
I mean,
sure
it was
worth it.
very expensive.
I'm a ground meat person. except
But you
for
know,
special
anything
occasions.
for Norristown Area High School. That's my
Is that what-
motto.
that's your
All right,
motto?
now you know what you have to do now. This is really fun. You gotta get that brown sugar and move it all over those ribs. For example, like this. Okay. Now you got to get it in every possible way. When it's done on one side, do that one and then flip it over. Okay, isn't this exciting? Television is exciting, Betty.
Are you going to tell them what you do to get ready for this at home?
Well, okay.
Listen to this.
I never cooked Aunt Karen's special Lake Pontchartrain spare ribs before until yesterday. And
I didn't know
so
that.
it was the first time I ever did it. And now we did the skinny ones, the baby backs.
Yes.
And they were really good, but I think we probably kept them in a little too long because they were thinner, not as much meat, and well, they were really falling off the bone. I think probably I should have taken them out a little. But that was my first experience with Aunt
I'm
Karen's
not talking
ribs.
about that secret.
What secret?
The one how you get ready to come to the show and how you prepare to come to the show. And you stand in your kitchen at your counter.
Oh, that one. Oh, yeah.
I don't think you told this the last time
I've,
you were
al-
here.
I've always had this, on those rare occasions where I do cook, I pretend that I'm on a show at home. So I'll be scrambling eggs and I'll pretend there's a camera in front of me. And, you know.
And you tell them,
Yeah, and I'm
blow by
talking to
blow how to
myself, and
make
it's
eggs.
okay as long as no one from my family comes in and hears me talking to the wall. It's a little embarrassing. How's it going?
Going good. Real good.
Okay, I think we gotta get all of this. Is
he
your
doesn't want to
hand?
admit it. He's what do you want to call it? That's not the word I want to use.
Eccentric?
Well, that too.
I'm a little eccentric. Okay,
You want
now,
this?
what are we doing next? All right, Miss Cobb. Okay. It says press this combination, which Sarah just did, into the ribs until fully covered. Now, place the ribs back into the baking pan. Well, we got a little mixed up there, I suppose.
right in the pan
Now,
already.
this is what I like. Aunt Karen, when she called me from Louisiana last week, she said, you must submerge it. Now, submerge it means you got to cover this with your favorite barbecue sauce. And I said, well, you know, Aunt Karen, what kind of barbecue sauce are we talking about? She said, whatever your favorite choice is. So my favorite choice is
But you had to submerge it.
Emerald's. I like Emerald.
You like emerald?
Yeah, he's I like the way I like his cooking show. And it's called Bam Barbecue Sauce, and you, young lady, are going to submerge. Are you ready? That means
Ready.
it's got to be covered. We're talking like a submarine
Maybe
going
you should
down there.
give him back the job. Huh?
Do you want to continue?
No, I'll continue.
All right. Begin the submersion.
Tell me, your class, third class, they have a very big title here. What was it again?
Investigative cultures.
What do they do?
They
Investigate cultures.
They dig, well, actually, it's American history from 1786 to about 1876. And it's not just talking facts here. We're talking critically thinking about American history. So it's just not facts and memorization and all
I
of
think
that
it's
stuff.
submerged.
It does look submerged. We probably could use, you know, another container, but I'm going to really get messy here now, and I'm going to.
I have dishes, but right, I don't have any pans.
I've got paper plates.
Well, that too.
One more?
Oh, yeah, we want to empty the whole thing in there. We're talking total submersion here.
Oh, no.
Total
Here,
submersion.
put it in here. I don't care, I'll wash it.
By the way, my hands are nice and clean, and Sarah's were clean. Betty's are clean.
I'm not doing it, you notice?
All right, now.
I don't like messy Johns.
Now that, my friends, is Aunt Karen's.
Just do it. It washes out.
Gross spare ribs. But that's it.
That's it.
I mean, that's it.
So what do you have to
Can
do?
you get a
with
close-up of the spare ribs?
Take the bottle out
Oh,
of the way.
no,
No,
it's
forget
not.
it.
There's more stuff.
There's more. I just remembered too what it is.
Now, see, my wife is the sister of Aunt Karen. And being from Pennsylvania, she's kind of independent-minded, and she wanted to add her own special touch to Aunt Karen's Louisiana Lake Pontchartrain spare ribs recipe. So she said, I think we can make this better. So she went out and bought a 14.5 ounce can. Is it 14.5 ounces?
Around.
Which is about 411,
About 2 cups.
yeah, something or others, whatever that metric thing is.
2 cups
Grams.
minus a tablespoon or so.
And this is it. It's, well, I got Del Monte's petite cut diced tomatoes with jalapeno peppers in it. And what we're doing here is, how are we doing for time?
We're doing.
Are we gonna, this is the low-tech opener.
Some help?
Oh, come on. We may not have tomatoes, right?
This is the low, I'm not good, I'm only good at high-tech stuff.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Are you having fun, kids?
Some look like they're interested enough, and some look, if when this is over, I'll
All
be
right.
so happy.
Now, my wife's addition to Aunt Karen's Lake Pontchartrain ribs. Now you gotta
Submerge it?
well, just layer it over, just pour it all out over there.
I love
You
stewed
got
and
this,
chopped
James?
tomatoes.
I mean, this is the crowning touch.
You wanna go
Again,
home tonight, don't you?
we've gone one step further, and we're just going to smooth this out a little. And by jingo, I think that's it. Oh, and then, for you viewers at home, what you're going to do is preheat your oven to 250 degrees and put it in all day. Keep those ribs cooking, baking all day long. For example, yesterday my wife and I, we did this, and I'd say by 10 o'clock they were in, and we finally pulled them out at 5 o'clock, 5 for 6. So 7 hours of goodness, and that's
And you
it.
get to smell it the whole
Now-
time. That's the great part.
Now, through the magic of television, this is already cooking, so it should be finished. This is called a convection oven, ladies and gentlemen. Could you explain to the masses what a convection oven is?
Because it's hot air, like few of us. Turn it down. It's very noisy for now. It cooks in a 1/3 shorter time because the air keeps going around and around. They make them in big ovens too now. They used to just make them in the small ones. They now make them in a normal size oven for the kitchen.
And we are having our kitchen remodeled at home, and we checked the price difference. You know what the price difference is? The convection oven is about $400 more expensive than
Oh,
the regular. So
'cause you are
we
saving-
went with the cheaper one.
Oh, see how you are.
And here it is. Here is the finished. Woo!
Why don't you get your dish out?
James, can you see that? I mean, it's very good. And we are going
Why
to,
don't you put them both in here?
because you know, presentation is 90% of food. Okay.
It's done.
Sorry about that, folks.
Oh, it's done, definitely.
That just jumped right out of the pan.
So you don't need to cut it. You don't need any. You got my recipe
Woo!
already.
Sarah, we will let you, do you like spare ribs?
Yes, I do.
Well, I'll tell you what, why don't you put that on there?
I have some forks somewhere.
Sorry about that.
I get more.
How about a little dollop of the juice?
Oh, that's funny. You should mention that.
What, dollop?
Yeah, we just went through that and what it meant. This
What's a dollop?
little, take a little bit, and go glunk. You know, I don't know. It's like a tablespoon.
And ribs are, you don't have to be tidy when you eat ribs.
You usually eat them with your fingers.
They're very good.
Aren't they
Like
swell?
They're really hot though.
You mean hot?
You mean,
Cooking hot?
Cooking hot.
Oh, or spicy hot?
and
They're
that,
not spicy.
It is cooking. Look, you can see the pan is steaming. I mean, you can use this on anything. Rice, you could have this over rice with this. You could use it for dipping more, dipping bread, and a good crusty bread.
Jack, would you like to come on up here and I'll give you a...
You don't need a knife, but I have to get more forks, and I'm not sure where they are. Here, oh, no, give him that fork. I had to
He
find
doesn't
it.
need
Well, here,
He needs a
do you have, you gotta
Uh,
have a doll up here.
Oh, it's all,
Do you want to eat it with your hands?
I can do that.
That's okay. Ribs should be eaten with your hands.
Very good.
Isn't it excellent?
it's
Aunt
a-
Karen,
It's actually your barbecue.
I'm telling you, Aunt Karen, those Lake Pontchartrain ribs, mwah, excellent.
Where did you get this meat? Anywhere special?
I got it at my local Super Fresh,
Market.
I think it's called. Yeah, Super Fresh.
I have to taste.
We got some napkins here. Betty, feel free to grab one. I had enough ribs yesterday for a lifetime, let me tell
That
you.
happened? I'd get some forks. You're out of the way now.
How we doing for time, Betty?
Well, maybe just a few more minutes, but you can thank your students for taking up, I'm not taking up, for coming to see us. Maybe you'll come again. Maybe some of you will express an interest that you'd like to cook on the show. I had to get forks. Don't spread things out till I get forks.
Well, we can eat them.
Well, give her a napkin.
Napkin.
You're not giving her forks. Give her a napkin, you know, that kind of thing. So listen, I think we made a pretty good mess here, but boy, is it a good mess. Thank you guys, and thank you to the audience for being here, and I want to thank you, and maybe we'll do this again in about 20, no, I'm only kidding.
Well, I want reimbursed for this stuff.
You're going to be meeting,
I mean,
said
this
after I
was-
get my first paycheck from here, I'll
right.
reimburse you.
Betty, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure when I did the ranch beans. It was a pleasure when we did Aunt Karen's famous bear rib.
Yeah.
And thank you for
Listen, yes,
Jackie and
thank you
for
both for
Jack
taking
and
part.
Sarah. Sorry about that.
and the crew and everyone today, as I said, it's a little hectic because we're not quite sure of a lot of things. I know myself, I personally was put off that I didn't have a monitor to watch the show as it went on. But they're the things you learn to live with. So this is Betty and Dan and
Sarah?
Sarah and Jack. Bye for now. See you later.
See ya.